T-minus 50 seconds. T-minus 40 seconds. T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
And that cut off a bit quick. Once again, a very good evening to you, and running a little bit late. That's because just as I was about to go live, my PC that I use for streaming for some reason wouldn't switch on, so I'm doing everything on the main PC tonight. So it is the news. It is the 6th of June, and last week I said I wouldn't be talking about helicopters this week. Alright, I lied. Just a quick one about helicopters. The Bell 47, I downloaded it. I've been using it all week. It's the only thing I've flown all week, apart from one, and some news about that in a second. It is the best helicopter I've flown in any simulator. It is exceedingly hard. It's very difficult. And I'll give you a quick tip. He says looking for his joystick. Desk in a second. So the 315 has had another update. The 135 has had another update. That's coming on. It's great fun, but it doesn't feel realistic. And how would I know what realistic feels like? I'm not a helicopter pilot. And because I'm not a helicopter pilot, I find it very easy to fly it. So that's why I think it isn't realistic. The helicopters I have on X-Plane are a little bit more difficult, but I still find them very easy to fly, having practiced and spent about 50 hours practicing on them. The Bell 47 on Microsoft Flight Simulator, boy, if you fly it in easy mode, yeah, it's real easy. An idiot could fly it. Put it in medium mode and get that mastered, and then go to the realistic mode. And realistic mode is very, very difficult. A quick tip. If you're using a joystick like I am here, either take the spring out or go for the lowest tension spring you can find. Because there is no trim on this helicopter. There is no way to hold it steady. You will be doing this constantly, and you can't fight against that centering spring. That's my only tip for the helicopter, and I promise you I will not talk about it again in this show, other than go and get it. Brilliant. So, what have I got this week? Well, there's some news from X-Plane, what they've been working on. Something about sharing your cockpit. I talked about it last week, and we actually did a flight. Well, I'll tell you more about that. That's coming up. Some hardware, some really affordable hardware I found. Fans of Captain Sim, you might change your mind after this. Something from Navigraph Beta for Microsoft Flight Simulator, and a couple of other things. So that's what's coming up in the news, and with any luck, if I press the right button, we'll get this. And getting straight into the news, you must have seen this if you are a... Oh, you must have seen this if you're... Everything is frozen. For some unknown reason, my camera is frozen and I have no idea what's happening. Let's switch that off. No, switch that off, switch that on. Oh, what's happened to my camera? There is no camera. Oh dear. And who says things can't go wrong live? Let me see if I can fix this. We go into... Yeah, it's completely... So, this never happens on the BBC, but then they don't have one person doing absolutely everything, do they? Properties. HD webcam. So let's go to that one, and then let's go back again. HD webcam. Ah, there we go. Okay. Yes, I'm live again. Oh. I might stop doing this live. I'll go back to post-editing. Anyway, I was talking about X-Plane, and you must have seen this if you've been on this planet. If you haven't, X-Plane, Laminar have reviewed what they're working on. The lighting, which is really good news. That's what it looks like at the moment, and that's one of my complaints about flying in X-Plane now. I really noticed the difference moving from Microsoft back to X-Plane, that it does look a bit washed out, doesn't it? And look at that. That really does look spectacular. But they've still got a long way to go. I was hoping that I would see a review of Seasons. I've been told that they are... I've been told that they are working on Seasons, but we'll have to wait and see. But it's looking good. Apart from the fact that the default scenery is useless. Orbeck's True Earth isn't brilliant, but anyway, there we go. So we were talking about last week about shared cockpit, and I actually succeeded in doing a flight with a friend of mine, and we're actually going to stream the return flight. So we flew from Gatwick down to Jersey, and on Tuesday night we're going to fly from Jersey back to Gatwick, and we're going to stream it live so you can see it in all our unprofessionalism, shall I say. If you want to have a go at this, it is really easy. If you search, and I will put, of course, links in the show notes afterwards, I'll put them in there. You can go to GitHub and download your controls if you know what you're doing with GitHub. If you're not, just search your controls. It will take you to this web page. Scroll down to documentation, and when you get into the documentation, you will get this page here, and all you have to do is go to installing on the left hand side, run the automated installer. This box pips up. Just click the install button and you're ready to go. So have a go at that, and if you're brave enough, if you just want to see two idiots make a fool of themselves, tune in on Tuesday night. It'll be 7:30, 8 o'clock, something like that. Tuesday night we'll start the stream. Piece of hardware I found. If you want some cheap hardware, then this is the product, or a couple of pieces of hardware that you might find useful. There is an autopilot box, which was, I think, this one here. Have a quick look at it. Yeah, there you go. Do larger. And for $69, was it something like that? Yeah, for $69. I don't think you could make it yourself cheaper than that. It looks pretty good. It's backlit display. You got rotary encoders. You got push buttons. Terrific. Now have a look at that one. It looks legit. I've tried to find some reviews online for it, but I couldn't. Moving along. Though I'm not going to voice an opinion here, there is an opinion piece that I strongly suggest you have a look at on Threshold. Again, I'll put links below. Richard can hear other voices on the video. No, it's only me here. Shouldn't be hearing any other voices. Sim sounds. Wonder if the sim is running in the background. See if that sounds any better. So, yes, boycott Captain Sim. So here is a opinion piece from Threshold. I'm not going to pass an opinion one way or another, but I will be boycotting them. So I will not be buying anything else from Captain Sim. There's a fairly long-winded article. Have a look at it, read it through, and make your own opinion. Personally, I think what they're doing sucks. Navigraph. Big news from Navigraph, which is really useful. I'm actually going to start the simulator up in the background. No, I won't, because while I'm talking, I'll start it up in a second and show you this. Just it may freeze my computer as I'm doing everything on the one thing. So Navigraph. You can now get Navigraph charts inside the simulator, inside Microsoft. It's a toolbar. And to get to it, you have to download the Navigraph beta. When you've downloaded it, so you go to this link here, there is a download. Click that download. That will run the installer for you. It will give you the latest Navigraph AirAC inside Microsoft Flight Simulator, which is always very useful. And it will give you a toolbar add-in, which gives you the full Navigraph charts inside the simulator, which is useful if you've only got one screen and you're running full screen. And it is ultra useful if, like me, you're into VR, and now I've got access to Navigraph charts inside my VR headset, and I can scroll around with the mouse and access everything. It is brilliant. And finally, before I launch the simulator and go to a short pause, we have this Microsoft Community Downloader. If anyone's used the downloader for the A320 fly-by-wire, this interface looks exactly the same. It will download the fly-by-wire, but it also downloads a lot of other third-party add-ons which are usually found on GitHub, so it makes life a lot easier for downloading and installing. There is a gotcha, and that is if you're using a third-party add-on to move your community folder into separate areas, then this doesn't recognize all of the subdirectories, so you have to have a flat directory for your virtual community folder. He says he's going to fix that on a later version, but I've been using this now for a couple of weeks and it's awesome. So that's it. I'm going to start up the simulator. That's the news for this week anyway. So if you're watching this on the download that goes live at the end of the program, you can now cut off. If you want to hang around for a second, there's something I want to show you in Microsoft Flight Simulator, something I'm working on for the next how-to video, and for that I need my MFS add-ons, and that's already running. And let's... Where are you? I can't see you. I'm going to switch screens. Oops. And let's go to demo. That's good. So now I can close that window. I can close this window. My iPhone wants updating. This is the problem when I'm doing everything on the one computer. Usually I've got separate computers handling these things for me. Oh, let's FS add-ons. Yes. It says an instance is already running and it will run, and it isn't running. So another piece of quick work in the background. Task Manager. MFS add-ons. Can't find it running. So let's launch Microsoft Flight Simulator from here. See if that works. Come on. So, play some music. No. There were a couple of, while we're just waiting for this to load. And there comes the simulator. So if I switch on simulator onto, there we go. There were another couple of add-ons which I didn't have a chance to download and try. There was a seaplane variant for the Cessna 172 on flightsim.io. Going to give that a try because it's always useful to land on water, even if it is unintentional. And into the simulator. Come on. Going to move on. I did try and run up just before the show X-Plane to do a comparison of screenshots between X-Plane and Microsoft. Unfortunately, it took so long to load. So here comes the simulator. FSOS PC. And we're going to go into the A320. And what I'm going to show you, if I can pull up the camera, is this device here. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a video on this shortly, but I want to show you how it's set up. This is the Behringer X-Touch Mini, which you can get for about £35–40, something like that on Amazon. Really cheap. Rotary encoders. I talked briefly about this last week and said I was going to do a video. The video's just about finished. I just want to package up some downloads to go with it, make life easier for everyone. So let's just go to Gatwick, Gate 105. Always use Gate 105 because the virtual airline I fly with, Fly UK, they use gates 103 to 107 as their default. So, simulator's loading, and let's show you this in action. He says briefly. Full of his thumbs. So other things I need to download. Someone told me this morning about aircraft carriers for Microsoft Flight Simulator. You can only land on them if you're flying something really slow though. So if you try and land your F-15 on there, you'll be in trouble because there are no arrestor wires or anything like that. It might be fun to land a Cessna on there. So what am I showing you? Here's the cockpit. Let's just power it up. So get some ground power on. So ground power. There's the ground power attached. Down here on my right hand side, you can see in that top little video, I've got the small Elgato Stream Deck, and that's programmed up with all the views I need. So I can go to the Ecamm, I can go to the FMC, I can go to the overhead panel, and I've got, you can't see it very well on this video, but I think I've done a video on this earlier. So let's go to the overhead panel and start powering it up. And what you can't see down to the left of me is the larger one. Let's spin the camera around very quickly. So I don't have to use the mouse. There's the larger Stream Deck, and it's got all the controls for the overhead panel on, but none of the rotaries. So let's just power this up So on the ground, external power on. It helps if I've got Lorbe's access and O's running, because without that, it's never going to work. Now, May 320, there we go. So, external power on. Oh, that didn't work. Do it here. Batteries. And fuel pumps. And switch the nav on. And lights up. And let's go to the main one here. Turn these lights up so you can see it. Oops, come on. There we go. So this row of buttons, this row of, switches, rotary controllers, are mapped, it happens to have got the right number, to the rotary controllers you see along the screen here. So the first one is the Q&H. As I turn the Q&H up and down, you can see that going up and down. And we've got a push button on all of these rotaries, so if I push it, it turns it to standard. Push it again, we're back to normal. Next button along, next rotary along, that's got to be this one. And if I turn it, you can see next one along, just move your way around. And then we got the speed. Now on the Airbus, you've got push and pull on the rotaries. Now we don't have push and pull. You'll also notice, maybe you can see, I've printed some Airbus style switches here, so I can feel when I've got my VR headset on that I'm in the right one. We've got the different knurls. So the push does work. So when I push the button, it pushes control, the same as pushing in there, but I haven't got a pull. So I've just made this push button below the rotary controller the pull. So if I pull that out, we're now in speed select mode, and I can turn the speed up, down, and if I push the button, we go back. Oh, I can't push it because we can't go into manage mode because there's no flight plan in yet. Next one along, so I pull the switch and now I can change heading. Next one along, altitude, and by default it's taking the altitude up and down in thousands. But if I press this button below it, it's the same as pulling. The button below that toggles it, so whoops. So we should now go up, but that doesn't seem to be working. Oh, something's gone wrong. Need to fix that before I do the how-to video. It was working. That should have switched it to hundreds. And then the final two, I haven't bothered doing the vertical speed yet. What I have done instead is map these to the radios. I believe they're still working. And we go down to the radios. And there we go. So there is the decimal frequency. There's the main frequency, and that one there is the decimal frequency. And push to swap. So I can tune and then push to swap. So that's it. That's the bay ringer. These buttons here are programmed up to do other things as well. So that's what I'm going to be doing a video on next. Do I think the fly-by wire is better than the Aerosoft Airbus? Oh. My honest opinion is not yet. Not yet. But then again, the Aerosoft Airbus costs what, 70 quid, something like that. There are some things in the Aerosoft Airbus, like hold patterns, that just work very well. I haven't tried doing a hold on here, so perhaps I shouldn't judge that. I think the Aerosoft has... It depends what you want. The Aerosoft has a cabin which you can walk around, and Microsoft doesn't. It just has the cockpit. You can't actually go into the cabin. The Aerosoft has cabin noises which you don't get in this. You'd have to add a third-party product. So the Aerosoft has the edge on this at the moment, but then the fly-by-wire is advancing so quickly, I don't think it's far behind. That's my honest opinion. I think the flight model on X-Plane is slightly better than Microsoft's. So if you want to do pilot training, then you're going to get a closer thing. But I saw an interesting video from an actual pilot, a female pilot, from Scandinavia, and she was talking about the benefits of flying a simulator, particularly when most pilots are laid off at the moment. And she said the feel might not be right in Microsoft, but all the buttons are there. So if you want to practice procedures and go arounds and things like that, yes, you won't get the feel in your seat unless you've got a full motion platform, but it's good enough for practicing radio handling. She gave us an example, DME navigations and things like that. So yeah. Anyway, that's what I'm working on. No helicopter videos this week. We are doing, as I said, Tuesday night. We're going to try sharing the cockpit and doing a flight from Jersey back to Gatwick. That should be fun. No doubt we'll screw it up, but we should be able to get back and we should be able to land. That's the show for this week. Sorry I was running a little bit late. As usual, he says, trying to get back to his controller for Flight Sim and other stuff. As usual, thank you very much. I can't believe the number of subscriptions I'm getting. Had another 4 or 5 people subscribe this week already. So I don't do it for subscriptions. I just do it because it gives me something to do. Thank you very much. So, as usual, stay safe, enjoy your flying, and why not join in with us on Tuesday night at 19:30, 19:45, something like that, British summertime, and watch 2 incompetent pilots make a fool of themselves sharing a cockpit in Microsoft. Until next week, if I don't see you Tuesday, thank you very much, and good night.